Black Friday savings are here at the Home Depot, which means it's time to add new cordless power to your collection. Right now, when you buy a select battery kit from one of our top brands like Ryobi or Milwaukee, you'll get a select tool from that same brand for free. Click into one of our best deals of the season and stock up on tools for all your upcoming projects. Get Black Friday savings happening now at the Home Depot. Limit 1 per transaction. Exclusions apply. Full eligible tool list in-store and online.
The Burlington Coat Event is back. Buy a coat now through November 29th and get $5 off your merchandise purchase of $25 or more from December 6th through December 24th. Plus, Burlington is donating 50,000 new coats to help those in need nationwide through our partnership with Delivering Good. We've been keeping you warm for over 50 years. We'll see you at our coat event. Burlington. Deals. Brands. Wow. Visit burlington.com/coats for details.
Thursday Night Football is on, and it's only on Prime Video.
That is unbelievable.
This week, the Bills stampede into Houston to meet the Texans in a showdown under the lights.
Are you kidding me with this catch?
Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with football's best party. TNF Tonight, presented by Verizon. Not a Prime member? Not a problem. Simply sign up for a 30-day free trial. It's the Bills and the Texans, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime Video. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
The Arkansas athletic director is still hovering over the shoulder of Mike Ryan. Jessica Smetana must be loving everything that's happening exactly how she said it would go with Notre Dame and Miami.
Should we make them promise to play nice here? Or how should we do this on the front
No,
end?
well, first what we're going to do is play the useless sound montage, and then we're going to get to Jessica. But they don't have to promise to play nice. This is going to be Mike Ryan really pissed off, as he has been for the last few days. And I think that Jessica can dance and gloat with a victory lap because everything that's happened with Notre Dame is exactly what she said was going to happen with Notre Dame. So let's play the useless sound montage.
All right, what a day.
This was a rough night.
Yeah, I've never been in a city this big and this clean before.
All wins are good.
It's hard to, go on the road to Tampa.
But like I told them, man,
we got beat every which way you could possibly be beat.
I'm grateful to be a part of this team. I love the way that they just stay connected. They stay together. They're never out of the fight.
We had a good game plan. When you score 32 points, you're supposed to win.
We were hunting up front, that's for sure.
This is not a one-way street where everything is on the players. Coaches is involved in that too.
At the end of the day, it's about making plays.
What a great opportunity for us to be able to learn some things offensively.
We needed to do better. We got beaten every possible way.
From the beginning, executed.
But that's life. It's good to learn.
I'm excited we're 9-2. I'm excited that I don't have to see him until Monday.
But we're never going to apologize for finding ways to be able to win.
I mean, it really was kind of one of those days. I hate saying that, but it was just a little bit of one of those days.
We were playing 7-on-7 football, starting from the midfield and beyond the entire game. That's tough to do in the NFL.
It's really disappointed that we didn't stop them.
Why would you ask me a question? You trying to bait me? You going to get me fined right there?
Details and discipline. That was a box that we didn't check off today.
The most important thing is, just secure the W.
Gonna fly back to L.A.?
You want to talk about some good bread. Anywhere I go, there's awesome bread.
Percentages, you're going to take a few and lose a few of those.
And that's why I say stats are for losers.
We got challenged in a lot of ways, but you're going to get challenged in the National Football League on weekends.
When defense gave us a stop, we turned it into points, and then vice versa. If we got stopped, defense would go back and forth with that.
I don't think we have any more plays left on the call sheet.
We play better, pissed off.
Yeah, we got beat every which way you could get beat.
At that point where we got to find a way just to win football games and got to keep moving forward. That's what this league's all about.
I didn't help those guys, and I hate that.
Doesn't matter what I think. I'm not the ones making the calls. So
I thought Trevor was playing really well, especially, just spitting the ball accurately.
You got to be able to throw short and run long sometimes.
You're trying to look at everything while also trying to focus on what you're doing, so you never try to relax.
And whether we came up short and they make that field goal or whether we end up winning, there's nothing like celebrating with those guys.
You don't make that decision unless, I thought the play was going to work and it didn't.
The guys just executed and played their tails off.
We got stability at the safety position, other than, Jalen not finishing the game.
Hawaii. So the United States again, but just go play in Hawaii. I think that'd be pretty cool. But in Europe, shoot, it'd be pretty cool to go play in Jerusalem. I don't know. That'd be sick.
Roy, were you laughing because of Mike Tomlin speaking in poems? You got to be able to throw short and run long sometimes.
Yes, that doesn't make any sense.
Splash.
He's great at little poems that say nothing. McVay's hard charging when it comes to saying little coach gibberish that doesn't mean anything. And then I'm pretty sure I heard Mike Ryan in there. Did I?
That was Pete Carroll.
The most important thing is, just secure the W.
That was not Pete Carroll.
Yeah,
no.
I hear the chewing of gum.
The most important thing is, just secure the W. Pete Carroll.
Pregame of Monday night, I think.
If last week's game for the Chiefs was a must-win against the Broncos and they lost it, what's this week's game against the Colts?
Must win. Double must.
Season ender if they lose.
Waterloo.
Jessica Smetana is with us now, and there's plenty in college football to talk about. I want to bring her in on the Lane Kiffin conversation that we were having earlier. The alleged ultimatum that he denied on the Pat McAfee show. What do you make of everything happening there? And what did you make of Mike Ryan's contention that the question that if Lane Kiffin doesn't coach during the playoff games, that the committee might consider just taking him and Mississippi out entirely the same way they did FSU when they lost a critical piece and were undefeated?
Yeah. I don't know what would happen if that's the case. That's why this is so crazy, because Ole Miss is actually in a better position this year than they were last year into getting into the playoff. That would not be the case if they had actually lost to Florida last weekend, which looked like it could happen. But it's one of those things where at first, it's like when you're in a relationship, if you have to give the other person an ultimatum, you should probably just break up. Like, they've already kind of broken up with you at that point. You don't really want to get to the ultimatum route. Obviously, his denial was noteworthy. He said that's absolutely not true. There's been no ultimatum, anything like that. And I don't know where that came from. Like a lot of stuff out there. He then posts, his Tumblr, poems and stuff on his Twitter account afterwards. But yeah, reportedly his family was in Gainesville and Baton Rouge last week. So that is where it's coming from. I think he knows that. And The Athletic and both them and On3 said there was an ultimatum. So I don't know. You could believe Lane Kiffin or believe the reporting. Either way, we all know he's sniffing around. He hasn't signed an extension yet at Ole Miss. So it would not surprise anyone if he took one of these jobs, as we all kind of expected when they both became open.
Did you hear Kim Mulkey weigh in on the situation?
No.
She took all the air out of it. She was on the Zoom leaning in he's meeting in Gainesville. Stop asking him. I know everybody here is so interested in Lane Kiffin.
She was joking about the lack of reporters there. She goes, you guys are all on the Lane beat right now.
I'll do this for you. He's in Gainesville.
You mentioned, though, Jessica, who do you believe?
I like her.
Lane Kiffin or the reporting? You believe the reporting, right?
I mean, maybe there wasn't necessarily a direct ultimatum given, but maybe, maybe they're both right. Maybe they've told him, hey, you need to make a choice about this. Maybe they didn't give him a deadline of the Egg Bowl or whatever it is. But I think both can kind of be true, right? I mean, maybe we're just splitting hairs. He didn't necessarily say, I'm not looking into other jobs. He said there's no ultimatum.
Put it on the poll, please. If you have to give a person an ultimatum, should you just break up? I was asking earlier, would there be any other coach in the nation, any other coach that you wouldn't laugh at the possibility if that person doesn't coach in the playoffs, then maybe his team shouldn't be in the playoffs, even if his team deserves to be in the playoff? What Mike Ryan was suggesting there is not something I would apply to any other coach in that sport.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about all that, but I do think if he did leave the team and then they went into the playoffs and won a game, I mean, that would have to crush him, right? That he's been wanting to be in the playoffs this whole time, and for that to finally happen, it's the same reason why Brian Kelly was criticized so much when he left Cincinnati before a New Year's Six game and left Notre Dame while they were still in the conversation for the 4-team playoff. It would be a terrible and unprecedented thing, almost unprecedented thing to do, to leave your team before a playoff. So that's why I can't really apply any sort of precedent for it.
What did you make of yesterday's made-for-television stupidity?
Honestly, I don't think that Miami's necessarily out of it. I think there's still a dozen or so games left that are going to matter a lot to this. I mean, the Oregon USC game this weekend is going to be huge. Obviously, the Iron Bowl is always, even without Hugh Freeze, I mean, maybe even because Hugh Freeze is gone, is going to be a good one. We still don't know who's even going to play in the SEC championship game because there's a number of scenarios there. We don't know who's going to play in the ACC championship. There's still a backdoor way Miami gets into it. So I don't know. My opinion since the first ranking came out was we have to just let some of these games play out. It's possible Notre Dame could stumble against one of their next opponents. And I don't even mean necessarily just lose, but obviously the committee will look at if they have game control. That's something that they care about a lot. Same goes for Miami. Same goes for BYU and Utah and Vanderbilt and Alabama. So I'm not counting my chickens, Dan. I'm not booking my ticket to Oklahoma for the first round playoff game against Notre Dame. But also, when I came on the show 2 weeks ago after the first ranking, I thought Mike was going to be really mad and yell at me, and he was totally defeated and was like, yeah, we played like crap and like blah, blah, blah. Miami needs to look at themselves in the mirror. And now it's like, okay, I feel like it's kind of late for all this. Like, this has been the case now for over 2 weeks.
You can count your chickens. You can count them.
I'm not counting my chickens.
You can count them, though. Notre Dame can count its chickens. What do you mean? You're playing like Syracuse. You don't have anything left.
Yeah, but I think that what the committee head said last night was that if Miami and Notre Dame get closer, maybe they will factor in a head-to-head. But right now they're not in the same pod, and they've ranked the teams. I know you guys have already discussed this by now, but like 3 at a time, they'll do, or Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and Alabama were the 3 that they were debating the order of in this ranking. It wasn't Alabama, Miami, and Notre Dame, or Vanderbilt, Alabama, Notre Dame. So I think it's possible that there is some sort of upset in the middle there, and it brings the 2 teams closer together. I also think if that is the case, then both teams should make it. I think Miami is a good football team.
Jessica, another big question today regarding Notre Dame is: does Notre Dame have to kick back to the Vatican? Like, do they got to?
No, I don't think.
Again with this.
Notre Dame's endowment's
go.
probably.
I let him go. I'm like,
minor penalty, 2 minutes.
We have some discourse here, but Amin has something good here.
Imagine that, guys. I try to get Jessica's answer. She's enthusiastic and want to give it. And what do you guys do? Talk over her allies? I think not.
Okay.
Thanks, Amin.
I got your back.
The Vatican probably, in terms of their art collection, real estate, etc., I think that's more valuable. But in terms of monetary endowment funds, Notre Dame probably has close to the same amount of money as them in their endowment. I mean, I think maybe it was the other.
That can't be
true.
No,
Notre Dame's got like a $13 billion endowment.
She said it like this, though.
They have a crazy endowment.
Vatican has their own city in the world.
That's what I said, Tony. Did you listen to the first part of what I said?
I've been there. His own city.
I've been there. My point is, okay,
but if you do say it like that, it does make me believe you more when you do it with clenched teeth and sort of let some of the words sneak out between your teeth.
The holidays really stress me out. I try to be a really good gift giver, and when you get toward this time of year, you keep thinking, I have enough time. And overall, really, the holidays are stressful, but especially if you run a business. I see what you guys go through. It's like 1 minute you're planning a sale, next minute your website's crashing, your inventory's off, and someone's DMing you a discount code that expired in 2022. It's total chaos. That's why you need Shopify. It takes that holiday madness and turns it into... Shopify powers millions of businesses. We're talking everyone from Mattel and Gymshark to the folks just getting started this Black Friday. You don't have to be a tech genius either. Shopify's got thousands of ready-made templates, AI tools that write your product descriptions, even polish your photos, and built-in marketing tools to cut through the holiday noise. And that purple Shop Pay button, that's the secret sauce. This Black Friday, join the thousands of new entrepreneurs hearing for the first time with Shopify. Sign up for your free trial today at shopify.com/Batard. That's shopify.com/Batard, Batard. Go to shopify.com/Batard and make this Black Friday one to remember.
Folks, the leaves are turning. The weather's getting a little chillier. That means the football games are more important. That means football time should be Miller time. Game day hits different with a Miller Lite in your hand. From jaw-dropping touchdowns to fantasy heartbreaks. My fantasy season's over already, but you know what makes that better? Miller time! It's the beer that's been there for every moment. 50 years of great taste, simple ingredients, and that iconic golden color you can spot from across the room. And here's the kicker. It's just 96 calories, 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. The original light beer since 1975 and still hitting different 5 decades later. So whatever your game day looks like, remember Miller time is always a good time. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Real quick, want to talk to you about how Game Time is the official ticketing partner of the Dan Le Batard Show. Grateful that Game Time has been on with us as long as they have, because I use this product all the time. I travel for football. If I'm in a new city, I like to see what concerts are in town. One of the very first things I check is my favorite app for the secondary ticket market, the Game Time app. Why? Because it gives me zone deals, favorites, panoramic seat views, most importantly, the lowest price guarantee. Because if Game Time does not have the lowest price for you, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. I've lived it, folks. I've been at a place where I saw cheaper tickets. They credited me. It's legit. Game Time ticket coverage means your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today.
Dan Le Batard.
Mr. Shirt, if I may say for a second. Miami, they were simulating the snap count the entire game, and they were clapping at the line of scrimmage. And the only thing I want to see clapping are them cheeks on Mrs. Met in my face, Mike Shirt. All right, so that's one thing.
Stugotz.
They're a bunch of cheaters, Dan. And you know who should be cheating? Mrs. Met on Mr. Met. And he can watch if he wants.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
If I may jump in, I understand what they said. Somehow Notre Dame is in a different tier because of its loss to Miami than the tier that Miami gets to be in for beating them. We're not going to agree on we're not going to agree on Miami Notre Dame, but they're separated by 3 teams. Like this was my issue with yesterday's television show. The chair said a bunch of things that made no sense. 3 teams is not close enough to start counting head to head.
Mike, if I may say, I agree with you. Letting humans decide on these very complicated orderings of teams with a million variables is, there's always going to be bad choices made. We should just let the computers do it again. And by the way, the computers have Notre Dame ahead of Miami, as do the BCS rankings.
Right. We got away from the computers because they didn't take into account head to head, and that pissed us off. And now here's a committee doing the same thing. But I want to move on to some other things Hunter Yurachek said. You shouldn't be leaving one of these with more questions and more conflicts and more hypocrisies. This is something that he said basically in the same breath. He said that Oregon still gets credit for beating Penn State, even though the Nittany Lions fell off after that game. And in the same breath said, it hurts Virginia that Louisville fell out of the rankings. That was one of their best wins. This makes 0 sense. And it's a hell of their own design.
The Penn State-Oregon thing is one of those human calls that is difficult to really wrap your head around, because Penn State had not played anyone out of conference that was good before the Oregon game. But we watched the Oregon game, and Penn State was toe-to-toe with them. And if you think Oregon's a good team, which I think is also up for debate, I actually think that this USC game, it might be a playoff eliminator for Oregon. I don't see a way with their resume that they stay in the top 10, I guess, if they lose to USC this weekend. Right now, they're 8-point favorites at home. That's because that Penn State game really hasn't aged well. But I think that one, I don't know what you do with that, Mike. I don't know what you do with that. Penn State obviously completely fell down the crapper afterwards and fired James Franklin. But they are a good football team statistically in some of the advanced analytics, despite the fact that they barely have a Power 4 win. So I don't know. I think that's totally human judgment call that I don't know what you do with.
They clearly pick and choose the advanced analytics because Miami has 4 top 40 SAG wins, and that doesn't take into account. But I think one of the more curious things
here,
Jess,
if you also want to look at SAD ratings, Notre Dame is ahead of Miami in that.
Yeah, look, this is all data points, and those are all really good tiebreakers, just like quality loss is a good tiebreaker. In the committee's own words, in the event that there isn't a head-to-head. But in Miami and Notre Dame's case, there is a head-to-head. Also, if you apply the quality loss, quality win logic, there's no reason you should be ahead of BYU if you're Notre Dame. But the thing that I
think that the committee, though, is looking at the Texas A&M game, which was a 1-point loss that Notre Dame had at home, and they're just not really dinging them for it because that game came down to like a botched hold.
All right, well, I ding them.
That's just what I think about like quality loss or whatever. I think they're saying like that game's basically a toss-up. Like that was a 1-point game against a team that's now still undefeated and probably has a pretty good chance at making the SEC championship game as long as they beat Texas.
I'm not knocking Notre Dame's playoff credentials. I think them being ahead of Alabama is the right thing. I think Notre Dame is a playoff team. I think Notre Dame is a playoff team.
No, but you think they should be ahead of Alabama?
Yeah, because Alabama lost to a trash cellar dweller from the ACC in Florida State. But the thing that I'm most curious by is them backlogging the top 25 with teams that can boost resumes when they don't deserve to be in there. I highlighted Arizona State. Their best win Arizona State at number 25. That represents Utah's best win. Jeff Sims was at quarterback there. Arizona State is not ranked in the AP. They are not ranked in the coaches poll. They are behind SMU and Louisville and others receiving votes there. However, they find themselves at number 25, conveniently a week after Utah's athletic director joins the committee. Also, you take number 20 Tennessee and number 22 Missouri. Those two teams have combined for 0 FBS wins against teams above 500. They are just there to reverse engineer arguments for the teams that are in the top 15.
I hear you. I think that like even if you look at this week's AP poll, I believe North Texas, the last 5 or 6 are Tennessee, JMU, North Texas, Missouri, Tulane, and Houston. I feel like we're kind of splitting hairs there. Like, I think JMU is not in the CFP rankings because their strength of schedule is not good enough. Like, they have one loss to an Power 4 team in Louisville. Louisville's not ranked in either after I don't know if you guys watched the Friday night Louisville-Clemson game. What a freaking disaster that was. I mean, just a horrible game. But then, I don't know. Tulane, they need to put in there. I think that's fair across both the CFP and the AP. Missouri is in both. Like, North Texas has a really bad loss, but they're 9-1. They still have a pretty good shot at winning their conference, Mike. I just don't know how you backfill that and compare like Illinois to North Texas. Like, I don't think that that's necessarily wrong. It's just like depends on what you care about when you're ranking them. Like, Illinois has beaten better teams than North Texas has. They've also lost by 50 points to Indiana. So
I'm not even using the group of 5 in this argument. Like, Tennessee at 20 and Mizzou at 22, they are only that high in this CFP to boost the argument for teams that are actually in the playoff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Tennessee, I can see that. I think their best win is probably
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State.
That's a joke.
Yeah,
that's a joke.
That's sneaky decent.
Why are they ranked ahead of SMU? It's a joke.
Because SMU lost to a pretty bad Baylor team, and they lost to a pretty bad Wake Forest team by 1 point. Only scored 12 points in that game.
We're talking about losses, though,
and lost to TCU, which is also
and
not
beat
a great
Miami.
loss.
But like, you have to ask, who did Tennessee beat? Why? What is this mental programming that the CFP has where they value quality losses more than head-to-head matchups, more than quality wins? The point of football is to win a game, and we're out here arguing. We're entering every debate with who did they lose to? It's so
philosophically,
dumb.
I totally understand where you're coming from. I don't even really disagree with you on any of it. I think that they're just, whether you agree with their logic or not, like, they're looking at a team's ceiling versus their floor. And if your floor is a lot lower than another team's floor, I think they're dinging you for it.
Jess,
I don't know if I agree with it, but
Jess, are you going to have a problem if in a couple weeks the Canes, they win their games, so they wind up moving up a couple spots, let's say, in the playoff rankings, and then the committee does exactly what Juracek said was, okay, now Notre Dame and Miami are close together, so we got to evaluate them. Miami then jumps Notre Dame, and Notre Dame finds itself out. How mad are you going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be disappointing, but I also think that, like, Notre Dame knew going into week 3 against Texas A&M that they probably needed to win that game to be a lock in the playoff, and they lost by 1 point. Now, I think Notre Dame has vastly improved in the last 8 games, and I think the committee's taken note of that. Their defense is basically shutting out teams in the second half. They've held their last, however many opponents to only a touchdown, maybe 2. This last game against Pitt, they shut out the offense until the last 4 seconds of the game when they scored in garbage time. So I think Notre Dame is totally deserving. And of course, I'm extremely biased. And I think they're also probably taking into account that CJ Carr was playing his first road game against Miami as the starting quarterback, et cetera. But I think that that's Notre Dame knew if they were going to start 0-2, they would have to get a little lucky with the rest of the teams in the standings. And so far they have gotten lucky, but we know that there's still 2 games left. And like I said earlier, if Notre Dame even has any sort of, close game against Stanford, I think that could end up hurting them too, even if they win.
Check out her extremely biased Notre Dame podcast with Mike Golick Jr., The Echoes. I'd be totally fine with North Texas being in the playoffs. I'd be totally fine just choosing the 12 best quarterbacks and putting them in the playoffs. I think Drew Messamaker is one of the 12 best quarterbacks in the country.
He's good. I think that I feel bad for the G5 teams this year. I think everyone's mad at them, and they're also in 2 large conferences where they can't all play against each other, and whoever ends up making it is going to be a multi-touchdown underdog, and they're going to get laughed at, and I'm going to feel bad for them, and it's going to make me feel bad, even though it shouldn't, because this is the playoff format that we all decided on when there were 5 power conferences, and now there's only 4.
Jessica, do you know anyone who's not already a cheerleader who watches recreationally cheerleading competitions other than the scene in Dodgeball where Justin Long goes to compete in Vegas?
Do I know someone who's not a cheerleader who watches cheerleading competitions? Is that your question?
Earnestly, yes.
Yes, I know one person. He was the former head coach of the New England Patriots. He actually currently coaches the North Carolina Tar Heels. He was at his girlfriend's co-ed cheer event this past weekend.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, that's why we were discussing it, and Amin was saying that nobody likes watching. What was that? What does that mean?
Well, time to get in it. It's
Jessica's
Internet Minute.
Go ahead, Jess.
That's your cue, Jess.
Oh, okay. Wait, can I have a ruling on if this counts as an internet minute? It happened in real life, but I read about it on the internet.
It does. It counts.
Okay, Dan, what do you know about this reporter named Olivia Nuzzi/Nutzi? I'm not sure how to say her last name.
You know about that?
She had an affair with Scrotum Face?
Her name's Nuzzi?
Which Scrotum Face?
A lot to pick from.
The Dolphins
Dan.
logo?
Because there's multiple affairs with scrotum faces that potentially occurred in this story,
including one with 2 scrotum faces.
All right, go ahead and give me the details.
I wish I knew nothing about this, Dan, but unfortunately I've learned everything that there is to know about this person against my will. So this woman was a political reporter. That's disgusting.
Dolphins logo.
It's an old man's ass on the.
We don't know about that.
It's an old man's ass on the dolphin helmet.
It's like a werewolf's ass. Okay, so she was a political reporter, and I don't know. I feel like people have probably seen this name around, and they're like, "What's the deal with that?" So I'll explain.
She pretends to be a journalist while dating or having an affair with RFK, who she was profiling.
So yes, the story came out last year that she had an affair with RFK Jr., who she had written a profile for. So then she was, I guess, sort of let go of her New York Mag job. Later on became the West Coast editor of Vanity Fair. And her ex-fiance, Dan, is also a political reporter who previously worked at The New Yorker but was let go because of some other misconduct allegation. He wrote a blog post the other night. This is where it gets there's a dramatic twist.
A what?
He wrote a blog post or a Substack, whatever you want to call it, the other night about her affair with this presidential candidate. But then if you read the whole thing, there's a huge twist at the end. Allegedly, this was about Mike Sanford, not even about RFK Jr. She's had multiple affairs with presidential candidates and previously dated Keith Olbermann. And there's your sports tie.
She's got a type.
By the way, Dan, I wore a costume today. I'm The Rock. I have a fanny pack on.
Oh,
okay,
nice.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well done.
It is. Thank you, Jessica. Again, her extremely biased Notre Dame podcast, The Echoes. With Mike Golick Jr. Yes, we'll do it this way, I guess.
This is not an echo chamber.
Thank you, Jessica. Appreciate the time.
Bye.
You know how most home security systems wait until after something bad happens? Just like a goalie just standing there until the puck's already in the net. That's reactive. Simply Safe, on the other hand, well, that's Sergei Bobrovsky in net. It's proactive protection. The new Active Guard outdoor protection uses AI-powered cameras and real monitoring agents who spot trouble before it happens. If someone's looking around, they'll talk to them, hit the lights, sound the alarm, even call the cops, all before anything gets through. That's a shutout level defense. No contracts, no hidden fees, and named Best Home Security System by U.S. News & World Report 5 years running. I've got Simply Safe at the house, and let's just say, nothing is getting past it. Right now, our listeners get exclusive early access to Simply Safe's Black Friday sale. Save 60% on any new system. This is the biggest deal of the year, so don't wait. Go to simplysafe.com/DLB. Again, that's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
What does Zyn give you? Not just smoke-free nicotine satisfaction, but real freedom. Freedom to do what you love and choose your rewards. With Zyn Rewards, you can redeem points for premium tech, outdoor gear, and gift cards to your favorite retailers. Find your Zyn and keep finding rewards that fit your lifestyle at zyn.com/rewards. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Thursday Night Football is on, and it's only on Prime Video. This week, the Buffalo Bills and Houston Texans collide in an AFC showdown. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with football's best party, TNF Tonight. Not a Prime member, not a problem. Simply sign up for a 30-day free trial. It's the Bills and the Texans on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Prime Video. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
Don Le Batard.
Did someone say conservative entity?
Wow! No!
What?
Oh, see, this is why.
Stugotz.
Hers was better than mine.
In the fifth Sagaki.
Yours was Fleming.
How is the fifth Sagaki better than the third and the fourth Sagaki already?
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I wanted to ask something based on a contention that Mike Ryan has had here for a couple of days. I don't know how you guys do these kinds of measurements. Mike Ryan has said, and Tony, I'd like you to help me here because I'm going to go to a roster literally from 40 years ago. Mike Ryan has said that the University of Miami's offense this year is positioned to be the second best in the history of the program, the best one being the one with Cam Ward.
No, last 20 years.
Okay, so the best since, okay, so I was going to go back 40 years because I didn't realize I thought you were saying it was the second best statistical offense the University of Miami has had. Regardless, the conversation I wanted to have with you is if in the modern age, right, there are two offenses I think of in University of Miami history when I think of just sheer absurdity, right? There's the one at the beginning of the 2000s where you had Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore in the backfield. You had Bryant McKinney as a first-round pick on the offensive line, and you had Andre Johnson. I don't know who the second receiver on that team was. Andre Johnson was a top pick. But then when I look back at the 1986, I believe, offense of the University of Miami, you had, as the wide receivers, you had second-round pick in Brian Blade, second-round pick in Brett Perriman, first-round pick in Michael Irvin, and your quarterback was Vinny Testaverde, a first-round pick, and Alonzo Highsmith was your running back, so that's a top-5 pick as well. I don't look at the University of Miami offense and see a whole bunch of first-round and second-round picks. Do you?
On the line, we'll see what happens with Markel Bell. But Mawanoa on the offensive line, they have two of those players. Believe it or not, out of all the offenses you just invoked, last year's was statistically the greatest offense in the history of the program.
Correct. And so the question I was going to ask you and Amin when we start talking about the changes in how it is the game is played, right? You can tell me that Restrepo is the best receiver in Miami history because the production suggests as much, but he's not.
Correct.
And so
he's not the best receiver to ever put on a jersey.
So how do you do this? I just listed an assortment, like that's an absurdity of wealth I'm talking about, where you cannot dispute what I'm saying. That amount of talent at the skill positions is just asinine. And so
did Testaverde go number 1 overall?
Yeah.
Yes. And so you got Testaverde number 1 overall. You got Highsmith behind him. You got Bratton behind him as well. Like Melvin Bratton
was good.
Like that was a first round pick as well. So I'm not looking at this Miami offense, and I mean maybe Malachi Tony Stoney is a high pick? I don't know. He seems undersized. Maybe his quickness is such that 3 years from now he will be a high pick because he's an obviously very productive receiver. But how do you guys do this when the game has changed so much that what you're talking about is collegiate talent and passing, but you're not really talking about, oh, I see those skill guys and they're just unbelievable?
I'm sorry. I think Amin could probably invoke the NBA in that all kind of NBA stats are cuckoo right now. Like Buddy Hield's one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time. Statistically, where is he all time?
So, that's a crazy thing. I remember when Reggie Miller's three-point record was broken. It was a big deal. Ray Allen did it, and then Steph Curry broke his. And I just saw last night that Reggie Miller is now 7th or 8th on the all-time.
LeBron passed him, right?
Yeah, LeBron passed him. So it's like all these little things. Vince Carter in one night got passed on 2 different things. He got passed by Steph Curry in points scored and passed by LeBron James in seasons played. The numbers are accelerating because of the pace and the style of play. But this goes right back to Dan. When I hate when people are like, "Ooh, it's better." So like, it's impossible to compare. Like, just because the numbers are bigger doesn't necessarily mean this is a better quality athlete.
I feel like, because we're going back 40 years, right? 1986. I feel like sometimes we obviously acknowledge how much better, how much more skilled, bigger, faster players are today than they were, say, 40 years ago. I don't think we mention often enough how much better the coaches are. Like, coaches today, the way they scheme, design the plays, play calling is definitely so much better and more complicated than it was 40 years ago. Like, those players that you just mentioned back in 86, if you had those guys on this Hurricanes team, it's completely different than with these current players, but this kind of coaching, meaning, the kind of plays, design, schemes, and all of that.
With just the technology that's available, think of scouts. Think of how many cameras we got. Think of our ability to have playbooks not on thick stacks of paper, but on an iPad. Yeah. And each play has video associated with it. The tools available to the modern athlete are so much far beyond what we had 40 years ago.
There's no way the coaches back then in 1986 were close to what they are right now.
Zazzy, even though
Walsh with like a word.
Even though it's staffing, right? Like the idea of like, how big was the staff 40 years ago versus the staff now? There's just so many people just around on the staff who can do these things.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that because we didn't talk yesterday at all when you mentioned staff that Chip Kelly's making $6 million a year. He's the highest paid offensive quarterback in the league. Coordinator, excuse me. And I find amusing that so many people were upset about the conflict of interest with Tom Brady when clearly he's not providing anything on offense that is helping them in any way when Ashton Genty is carrying 6 times for 7 yards and leads the league.
Matthew Berry told us he was going over.
Yeah, leads the league in being tackled in the backfield and being hit before. Like, I've seen Ashton Genty, and this has to be a record, an NFL record. I have seen Ashton Genty hit 7,000 times this season before he gets the football. Like, there are people in that back. That's a bad Dallas defense. So
they did make a personnel change, though. That was a helpful acquisition, and it directly impacted Genty in that game.
Correct. But what has happened clearly, look, I think Pete Carroll regrets going back to Oakland. I think he underestimated, as we all did, how much Geno Smith was helped by having Metcalf, Lockett, and Smith and Jigba on the same team. Like, those were all on the same team at one time, those 3 guys, and they clearly made Geno Smith look a lot better than he looks right now.
You take Ashton Genty over his rushing yards, and then you check mid-game. He's got 2 rushes for -1 yard. Not a good feeling.
Christ. Yeah, Dallas was putting so many. They had 700 people in the box.
Matthew Berry didn't tell me that.
I saw Leon Lett and Too Tall Jones get into the backfield and hit Ashton Genty. The thing that happened in that game, though, what are you paying Chip Kelly for? Like, what is Tom Brady doing there? Like, we talked so much about conflict of interest, and he's wearing a headset. What possible wisdom is he giving them? They are terrible at offense.
The Chip Kelly thing is interesting, and it's why the NFL, when they talk about Lane Kiffin, they worry about his offense. Why would we trust you to develop our quarterback, even though you worked with him before, when you have a recent history of guys coming back from college to the NFL and their offense is not working out?
When we see Brady in the booth and he's got the headset on and everything, are we sure he's not just practicing broadcasting?
Well, there's no
Needs
proof
that
that
too.
he's getting better at it, so I don't know how much he's practicing.
There were a few plays the last time I listened to him where I was like, he seems to be stopping now. Because, before he was just pushing through the next play. There were a few times where I'm like, he may have gotten the note because he stopped talking at the right time. He's still not great, but he at least has the timing down a little better.
It's kind of like one of those things with the great players. Like, why can't great players be great coaches? Like, just go do what I did. And it's like, hey, Tom, we can't. Like, I'm Geno Smith. I can't do what you did.
Whose job is it to give Tom Brady notes? Who's the guy?
Producers?
I know whose job it is on paper. I'm talking about in real life. Who's the one? You tell him. No, you tell him. You tell him. Tom, can you?
I pictured Burkhardt just being like, try to stop before the next play starts.
You guys say that, though, but I have found that athletes take to coaching well and want to be better, so they crave criticism. Like, they're different than most media people. They are not the sensitive
He's like,
kinds.
give it to me straight. Right after the first one, he's like, give me real notes.
I assume he wants to be better at it. I don't think he wants to be bad at it. I don't think he wants to be bad at anything.
Do you think, like, it matters, though? Like, he wants to be better. He already knows the check's coming. It's like, I can just kind of do my thing.
He sees he gets the overall vibe of the internet. I feel like he could tell that it was not positive.
Tony, that goes against everything I know about Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is fighting like hell to not have his name brought up as the biggest gulf between what they did on the field and what they did in the booth, because right now he's top of that heap.
Who's got that title? Who's he taking that title from?
That's
Marino?
a great.
That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good nominee for somebody who was great on the field,
Reggie Miller,
but was famously bad at broadcasting, or is famously.
Remember
bad
when he wanted to be a stand-up comedian? That was like a short stint of like, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian. And we're like, who did? Really? Tom Brady.
That's crazy.
Before he was broadcasting, he was like, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian. We were all like, really? Okay.
I don't remember that part.
You're telling me Tom Brady's going to stand up in front of me and say things and I'm going to laugh?
Look it up.
There's no way.
Look it up.
I don't think.
And you remember?
Real?
I know you remember.
Yeah, no,
you're locked in on stand-up comedy. I know you do.
But was that for real? For real?
It's like when T.I. tried to stand up. It's like, I don't know. Like
Blake Griffin tried stand-up. Blake Griffin was good at stand-up.
He's good. Tom Brady, bad.
I have had a source of tension here for these 3 hours, and I'm going to say pretty close to the 24 hours before it. There have been very few sources of tension with Zaz since he's been here, but he left here yesterday genuinely pissed off because he felt like I was asking him a question that I was asking Amin.
I know you were.
And everyone was confused by whether I was asking Zaz the question or whether I was asking Amin the question, and then Amin objected by when Zaz answered the question.
Oh, the look that Amin was giving me. I was confused while I was talking. And Amin, wait, why are you looking at me like that? I'm answering a question here. I'm giving good information. Amin was very upset. I didn't like it.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
And so the tension here develops into what ruling from among everybody? What do we come to?
Did you say ruling?
Yes, a consensus.
All rise, the Honorable Jonathan Zaslow now presiding with prejudice.
Wait a minute. He's ruling on his own. He's going to rule. He's got bias here. What do you mean it's without prejudice? He's got prejudices here. He's going to rule.
Dan, enough from you. Your papacy.
Thank you. Dan?
You want to explain to people? Do you want to explain it any more? Does it need any more context than what I've just offered on what it is?
I know how to run a courtroom. Thank you very much, Dan.
I'm sorry.
So let's revisit the question in question from yesterday's show. Let's play. I need some evidence here, and we will decide if the question was for me or the question was for Amin. Can I please? This is Exhibit A.
You have been very hard on LeBron James, Zaslow. You have said that LeBron James is faking an injury.
Oh, yeah.
It made me laugh to see the headline, LeBron James, and then parenthetically, sciatica. Returns to the Lakers. You are thinking what's about to happen here, given that the usage rate of Luka has made the Lakers look like the Mavs that went to the finals.
Yeah.
Because when you give Luka the ball all the time and just allow him to dominate the ball, he will dominate the game. And, I'd be curious about your thoughts here, because the Lakers with Luka through 14 games, and Luka has missed a few of them, and Austin Reeves has been great. They haven't looked like they missed LeBron at all, even though statistically LeBron was a top 10 player in the league last year.
That was the first half of the question.
Okay. Holy crap, what a long question. All right. I would like some eyewitness accounts. Mike Ryan, please.
Some witnesses?
Hey, how's it going, baby? I was here earlier.
I think that question was for Amin.
Chris, I would like an eyewitness account.
You're a biased judge.
I'm getting eyewitness accounts.
I think it started for you.
You made a face. You got a witness. You're threatening the witnesses.
I think it started for you, and then Dan realized as he was asking it, like, oh, Zaz isn't the perfect person to ask this question to. It's Amin.
This is like a 3/4 of the way, Zaz. He pivots at the last second for Amin. So if you're asking me who was this question for, I'm going Zaz.
If it may please the court, he's just talking to Zaz.
Go ahead, Amin.
He's just talking to Zaz. He says, Zaz, you're one of those guys, da-da-da, and he makes his point, and then he ends with the question directed at me.
He asked the question invoking Jonathan Zaslow's name, and then mid-question, you may have heard, asks another question directed at Jonathan Zaslow, and then later in this godforsakenly long question, does he then address Amin? I rule in favor of the question being for Jonathan Zaslow!
No! Unforgivable!
That's my gimmick. You don't pour water on me.
Guys, listen up. The Emirates NBA Cup is rolling. Big games, big stakes, nonstop drama. Get in on all the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers download DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code Dan. That's code Dan. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bet if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Folks, the leaves are turning. The weather's getting a little chillier. That means the football games are more important. That means football time should be Miller time. Game day hits different with a Miller Lite in your hand. From jaw-dropping touchdowns to fantasy heartbreaks. My fantasy season's over already, but you know what makes that better? Miller time! It's the beer that's been there for every moment. 50 years of great taste, simple ingredients, and that iconic golden color you can spot from across the room. And here's the kicker. It's just 96 calories, 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. The original light beer since 1975 and still hitting different 5 decades later. So whatever your game day looks like, remember Miller time is always a good time. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.